Well, Rich is back. I was actually here last week. We'll get to that in a second. But, Rich, happy to have you back this week.
Happy to be back, superstar.
Yeah. All right. Well, you get to that later. But so last week, let me explain. So last week we did the show. It was Rich wasn't here. He couldn't make it. But me and Rob were here, believe it or not. And the recording got all screwed up. I don't know how. So it recorded, but there was no sound, so we couldn't post it after. So if you listen live, you heard it, which is basically only if you're on campus. And then, so yeah, basically there was no show last week, but there was a show. So basically everything I said, if you didn't hear it live, you didn't hear it at all, which kind of sucked. So, and then I lost my voice. So that was brutal because I couldn't call the opening game against for men's basketball against Newman, which they lost, but I wasn't able to call it, so that was brutal. So it was a pretty bad week for me, but Richard thinks it was a good week. I don't know.
I think it was a great week, John. You got this whole article written about you.
Yeah, that
You're
was
a superstar.
Yeah.
How's it feel? And I'm glad they put this picture up that I took, so at least I'm part of it.
And I did give you credit for that, right?
Yeah, it says photo by Richard Zeller. Rob gave them the worst picture of me possible. There was multiple pictures.
That was with Kreider and Galante.
Yo, bring this down a little bit. Bring it down a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got some really dope stuff in here. You mentioned Rob a lot. Rob is the man. You gave him the credit for starting the show. Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, Rob and obviously the athletic director, Matt Caruso. Coach LaFrance. Coach LaFrance is one of the greatest people you will ever meet. You do a lot in here, John.
She's great. She's great.
She is always open to talking field hockey in her office and loves what she does. She is everything right about college coaching because she cares for her players, loves the games, loves talking about it, and will do anything for anyone.
Rob got a shout out in there. Yeah, Rob got a shout out in there too.
You gave everybody a shout out. I don't see nothing about how Rich Zeller is the greatest man ever.
Yeah, you're definitely, dude. Your name's in the article.
No, I know. Let's see. Obviously, you give credits for all the students. You announced that you're a media film major. What's your plans after this, John? Because now the world is open to you. Now you're published. Now people go find you.
I don't think I'm that big a star.
You're one step closer to a verified Instagram badge.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be here through the winter sports and then probably this spring, but we'll see.
So you're back. So fans can keep hearing you.
For now, I will be back.
What was it? Okay, so twice this has happened now. The volleyball game, right? The fan came up from California and was like, which one of you is John?
Yeah, so that happened.
So that was cool. So your voice is clearly being heard all over. Like, that was a dope moment for you, right?
That
he was
cool.
like, we're so happy, our family.
Obviously, I'm very thankful for that, yes.
And then when I did the basketball game Saturday, someone came up like, oh, where's John?
Really? You didn't tell me that.
Why would I tell you that? Your head's already big enough. You're leaning back in your chair.
What'd you tell him?
I was like, John who?
Oh, my goodness.
I was like, John who? I was like, don't worry about John. I'm here with Kevin. And I'm pretty sure Kevin called me John a few times. So you're clearly all over Kean Athletics right now, which is really dope.
Kevin, why would he do that?
And it's really awesome. And I'm happy for you.
Thank you, Rich, though. Thank you. So that was a good way to start the show. Me explaining what went wrong and then Rich saying what went right. Now Rich is going to come over here on the board and lower some stuff because, that's what Rich is good at. I'm not as good on the board over here. Do your stuff. Do your magic.
Dude, I just sound like super loud in my microphone. Did it sound loud to you like crazy?
It says it's loud on there. Yeah. You good now? You're good now. All right. So if you hear a voice different in the recording, Rich had to turn it down, so you might have to adjust your computer or whatever you're listening. Yeah, headsets. But I definitely had it on too loud. So all right, let's get started though. Let's start with field hockey because they're in the NCAA tournament, which is very cool. Field hockey plays Endicott on Saturday the 16th in Middlebury. So for those who don't know, the NCAA tournament bracket was released on Sunday. And how it works is 8 teams get double byes and then 4 teams host the Sweet 16 and Elite 8. So the 4 teams were TCNJ, Middlebury, Salisbury, and Tufts. So Kean got put in the Middlebury bracket. Just so happens Middlebury's the 2-time defending national champions. But before they get to Middlebury, before Middlebury can even get to Kean, Endicott plays Kean and Middlebury plays Babson. Those games are at 11 o'clock for Middlebury and 2 o'clock for Kean on Saturday in Middlebury. So first off, congrats to the field hockey team and Coach LaFrance for making the tournament. That's a huge accomplishment in itself. And secondly, now let's go win against Endicott. It was a tough ending in the NJAC tournament against Rowan. I did touch on that last week, but you know what happened.
Well, just do a quick summary of it real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm saying go ahead.
Oh, well, basically, Kean, they didn't show up in the first quarter. There's no way to sugarcoat it. They gave up 2 goals. Rowan was the better team early on. Kean got one back, and then Rowan got one right before half. So Rowan had a 3-1 lead and was clearly outplaying Kean in the first half. Clearly, everything. Second half, they made a push. Kean got it within a goal. They were the better team in the second half, but because of how bad they played in the first half, it wasn't recoverable. Rowan ended up getting a goal probably that they shouldn't have had in their fourth. Just one that usually is stopped and usually they prevent from even getting off. So just all in all, it wasn't a great game for Kean, and they end up losing 4-2. They played a half a game, and when you play a half a game against a really good team, that's the result you're going to get. But they get another chance at it. They were good enough to get a double bye in the NCAA tournament, 18-3, well-deserved. Endicott beat Wilson last night, so Endicott will play Kean at 2 o'clock in Middlebury. But, yeah, Rich, you called the game with me.
I think it was all about those corners. I think we talked about it all game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think it was it every goal? Every goal was a corner.
Every goal was off a corner for Rowan. So
that's pretty much what it came down to. It wasn't like Rowan was out there on the run scoring or really outplaying them offensively in terms of, putting the goals.
I agree.
It was just all about the corners. And usually that's where Kean throughout the season was winning the battles, was winning on those corners and having 4 or 5 corners in a row and putting it in the net.
It's funny because I think they had more corners. It's just
they were more efficient, Rowan.
They executed. Rowan executed on the corners, and Kean did not. And, you get the final score you get. So that's what happens with.
They definitely had chances, though.
But
they kept cutting it close.
Absolutely.
And
second half, they had so many chances.
But, we watched the game. Everybody watched the game. It seemed like they came out a little lackadaisical. Rowan was on it from the jump. And by the time they put the energy into it, the full energy. But it was a long season for him, too,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're playing
and they're still in the NCAA tournament, so it works out. Unfortunately, they got put in not the greatest pod, but.
Yeah, you can't prevent that from happening. It happens. You're going to play Middlebury. But, if you want to win the whole thing, you're eventually going to have to beat them at some point, right? So
absolutely.
It doesn't really matter where. Just matters how you play against them. But first, they got to go against Endicott, who is a really good team. They're 19-4. Now, you can't pay too much attention to the first round because they played Wilson, who got an automatic bid from a bad conference. Sorry, Wilson, but that's 8-1 speaks for itself. But they are a good team. They have wins against Babson. They have a win. Well, that might be their best win. Sorry. Their best win is probably Babson. They played a tough game against Tufts, who's 4th in the country. They only lost 2-1. Bates, they lost 4-2. Amherst, another good team. They lost 3-0. Trinity, pretty good team. They lost 5-4 in overtime. But after that, I don't see that great a team. So their best win is definitely Babson. But, 19-4 is 19-4, and Kean has to be ready. That's the bottom line.
Yeah, no game is going to be an easy game from here on out.
Exactly.
Clearly, it's the NCAA tournament. But on that note, you got to shout out, obviously, Belly Reynoso for winning NJAC Rookie of the Year.
Yes, so I was just about to get to that.
And those 5 players.
Reynoso was tabbed as the NJAC Rookie of the Year, which is very cool. She was also named to All-Conference First Team. And let's get to the rest of the first team with Melissa Way, Jenna Petrone, and then and Aaron Donnelly.
And Taylor Hutchins, don't forget her.
Hutchins was selected honorable mention. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But which is awesome. But Melissa Way, she is tied right now for the single season goal record at Kean with 28. She got her 28th against Rowan in the NJAC semis, so she can break that against Endicott. They all count, right, Rob? Yeah. Rob is here, by the way. I don't even know if I mentioned Rob. But yeah, Rob's here. But yeah, so they'll count. So if she gets one more goal against Endicott, she'll have the single season goal record, which is awesome for her. Jenna got named first team, and Aaron Donnelly, who was phenomenal moving the ball all year and defending and all that type of stuff, she's in there too. And then, of course, Hutchins, honorable mention. Let's see. I'm trying to look at Reynoso's stats. She had 31 saves, 8.61 save percentage, 8.85 goals against. Really cool, really great as a freshman. Think of that, Richard. Leslie has this girl for 3 more years. So that really sets you up for the future, right?
Absolutely. You have your solid piece of goaltender. goalkeeper. I'm sorry, and it's a position you don't think she'll have to worry about.
Moving forward,
and nothing unforeseen, obviously. Mm-hmm. So it's got to be at ease in her mind to know she has an established goalkeeper already for the next few years, like you said.
And yeah, Melissa, of course, the first team, but she did a lot of work in conference plays. She had 18 points, 8 goals, 2 assists. That's all in 6 conference games. So she was important in the team going 5-1 in conference. But we move on from field hockey. Best of luck to.
Well, hold on, one more question about
ahead.
field hockey. So the NCAA tournament coming up. Who's the X factor for Kean?
X factor, Jakara Jackson, because she makes everything go for this team. She has speed. She sets up Melissa and Jenna in the middle. She's been my X factor all year. She's the X factor when they're in Vermont. So
hard to disagree.
Yeah. So best of luck to field hockey and just get it done. Represent the school. You've already done it this year phenomenally. Great team. Go do some work up in Vermont. So we'll be watching. Let's move on to men's soccer because they are the only other team fall sport playing still. Good for them. They're in ECACs. Got eliminated in the first round, right, in the NJAC tournament against the eventual champion, Rowan. Montclair won. No, Rowan won, I thought. Really? Montclair won. Okay. Well, Montclair won the conference, not Rowan. But, they got eliminated. Tough overtime goal against Rowan, 2-1. They fought hard. Nothing you can do about that. Good thing is, Coach Falloon put in for ECACs, and he got it. And they got the 1 seed. Guess we're not playing at Kean, but they got the 1 seed in Pod 4. They are playing Hunter at Arcadia. And then in the other... the second game in the 4th pod is Arcadia, who is hosting that pod, will play Wesley. And both of those games are on Saturday, this Saturday. Kean is at 11 against Hunter, Arcadia, Wesley at 2. I'm sure you could go on to those websites, or I guess the Arcadia website, and stream the game there. The other 1 seeds in the first 3 pods, you have Stevenson, McDaniel, and Muhlenberg. So that's how that rounds up. We didn't call too many men's soccer
1 or
games.
2, right?
Yeah,
definitely 1.
Definitely 1, but I think it was 2. It was 2.
Was it Arcadia they played?
No, it was Drew. And there was one other one.
We called somebody who played Arcadia, I feel like.
We did. Who was it?
All the sports kind of just...
Yeah, they kind of all blend together. They did, but the thing is, they did play Hunter this year, men's soccer, and they did beat him 7-3. So I guess I don't know how you put up 7 goals in a soccer game, but I guess that kind of bodes well for Kean on Saturday. And if they win, they play Sunday against either Arcadia or Wesley. So, and then from there, we'll see what's up. If they're still playing, you'll hear it on the show. If not, we'll briefly mention it. But overall, good season for them. They did have some awards too, Richard. Max Acosta, Calvin Carbajal were both selected to the second team. Felix Pereira, Olta Kuhn, Kozelman, all named for honorable mention. Acosta had a really good year as my computer almost went flying off the... Max Acosta had a really good year. He had 8 goals, 2 assists on the season, 18 points. He led the team in goals. Calvin Carbajal, what he does can't be understated. The guy plays basically every game, every minute. You have to be in some shape to do that. So his stuff really doesn't show up on the box score. But trust me, if you look in the minutes, it does. He plays incredible defense, and his stamina obviously has to be amazing. Kozelman, the goalie, got on there too as honorable mention, so that's good stuff. He was really good. He had 27 saves, 6.75 save percentage, 134 goals against over 9 conference starts. Only a sophomore, so he'll be back for at least for 2 more years, hopefully. And so Coach Falloon has some good stuff working there, right, Rob? Yeah.
Yeah, and just another, like you said, sophomore. So nobody gets my name right anymore.
No, I was looking at
I'm
Rob,
just messing with you, John. Yeah, just like another solid piece, like we just talked about with the field hockey team. When you have a solidified position, a solidified player, at least you have one less worry going into the next year.
Very good. Okay.
And more tournament play for Kean, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, Rich, you did volleyball that day. So I called So football we have to catch up on. Football had an eventful 2 weeks. Good 2 weeks, I would say. They played William Patterson last Saturday, not this last November 2nd. I had the call, dominating win, 37-0. Tyree Taylor. So this is kind of big news because Tyree Taylor got the start and played the whole game, Richard. No other quarterback, no Broccoletti. It was just Tyree Taylor doing work, too. 12 for 18, 171 yards, a touchdown. He did have one interception, but he also added 22 yards on the ground and one touchdown. So altogether, 2 touchdowns. He was looking really, really good, Richard. And
do you have any information on why the switch was made?
No, I didn't ask. I would assume, and we'll get to this in a second because they played Wesley and he started the whole game. But, you just put him out there. They went down the field like that. They scored. They got it back. They kept moving the ball all game. I would assume the reason why he wasn't taken out is because there was no reason to. He played well. He was providing the offense the spark they needed. So I would just say the game flow.
But to start the game, though, that's what I'm asking. If you have information why he started.
Okay, start.
Because you don't get that flow.
No, I
put in.
I couldn't tell you why. Maybe it was a matchup thing. Maybe it was just Tyree's time. That's all.
You think they're losing confidence in Broccoletti?
No, I don't think they're losing confidence in him. I just think they're trying to get wins, and Tyree, at the moment, gives them the best chance to win. I think that's fair enough to say.
So you think that's the last you see of Broccoletti starting?
Well, they're both sophomores, right? Both sophomores? I think they're both sophomores, yeah. So I think that's going to be a constant battle, and I think that's good. You could still see the two-man rotation for the quarterback. I wouldn't say it's the last time we see because you can't predict injuries, you can't predict anything. Taylor has a couple off games. You never know.
But do you feel it shakes his confidence? Because he came in, was announced a starter. You're coming in. You think you have the team on your back, and then now.
Honestly, everyone's different. If it shakes Anthony's, I don't think it would. I think it would motivate him maybe to get out there. Work. I mean, I'm sure he's working hard, but work harder and get back to that position where because we've seen him throw the ball. He's got talent. Get back into that rhythm where you're throwing the ball on target, on time. I highly doubt this is the last we hear of him. But Tyree has been playing good, so give him his props. Good stuff from him. They also played Wesley, who was 12th in the country, Richard, and they went down to Dover, Delaware, and played with his team for 4 whole quarters. They were winning at the half against a top 15 team in the country, 13-12. Second half, they added a couple touchdowns, Wesley. It was a late touchdown. Score looks deceiving, 27-13. With a minute left, they had an 87-yard run. But Kean had a chance. They were at the doorstep to tie the game. Just one ball sailed on Taylor. It was picked off. That's how that happened. Kean played there. What's off. And I talked to Matt Kreider today, defensive coordinator. He was really proud of his defense, the way they played. The whole team, really. I mean, they started off KT 33-yard Keon Taylor, 33-yard interception return. They had the lead going into halftime, 13-12. The offense just stalled out a little. And, props to the Wesley defense. I'm sure that's why they are, whatever they are, 7-1, 8-1. With their only loss to Salisbury. Kean played really good. And I think this is good stuff going forward and into next year, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm looking at the stats, and what really stands out again, it seems when Kean loses, it's because they can't get no rushing going. Mm-hmm. And when they win, the rushing seems to be intact. 50 yards in that game. But like you said, that you played a tough opponent, and just even to be able to stay with them for that long is always an accomplishment.
Absolutely.
And they got 3 wins this year, which is 300% better than last year.
Huge.
So.
And if they played this team last year, I don't know if they're in this game, but you can see the improvement. And now you go up to Montclair this week. Let's finish it off strong against a rival, which you want to beat. I think you're going to be seeing some good stuff. It's going to be cold. Going to have to run the ball a lot. They didn't run it well against Wesley, like you said, 50 yards. And when they do run the ball, they seem to have a much better winning percentage. But we'll see what happens. You got to get the ground game going. Montclair's good. They're 5-4.
So what's your prediction?
My prediction, 27-24, Kean.
Okay, John. So 4 wins. 4 wins for the season.
That'd be. I think.
I mean, 1 to 4 is
1 to 3 is good. 1 to 4 is phenomenal. especially if you look at some of those results. I know you got blown out by Salisbury, by Del Val, but Wesley, you were right there, and that's showing improvement. Don't forget, they went to Wesley. It's not like they were here. They had to get off the bus, play at Wesley. That's not easy to do against a top 15 opponent. So
it's never easy.
No.
What are you about to do?
I like to see the thing. I like to see my voice modulate, like
Look, you're the star here. I'm just here assisting your life right now.
It's just something I want, man. Okay. I gotta check my report. Okay.
My man's a diva now.
Yeah, that's not it. No.
Mike Francesa Jr.
Stop.
I'm just messing with you.
Oh. All right, so Caponzoli, for his efforts against William Patterson, was named D3 Football Player Team of the Week honors. He had a ridiculous game, 12 tackles, 2.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble that was picked up by Deshaun Reed in return for a touchdown. My man was all over the field against William Patterson. He had another good game against Wesley, had 12 more tackles. For the year, he has 83. 2.5 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. It's looking good. Good stuff from Dante Caponzoli, who's definitely been one of the best players on this defense, along with Deshaun Reed.
So then, like you said, you made your prediction. You just said he earned Player of the Week. So what's your key to winning against Montclair this Sunday?
Well, I think it's
or Saturday.
I think I told you. You got to establish the run. With whoever you're going to run it with, Taylor, Asari, Jesse. Even Parrish Crawford, maybe get him involved, but just limit the turnovers. Because, again, at the goal line, they had a chance to tie it against Wesley, interception. Salisbury obviously outmatched, but again, they were looking good. They were within. It was 7-3 early. That fumble, remember, returned. Never the same after that. Just a disaster. Here's my computer again. But limit the turnovers, get the run game going. That's my key. I want to revise my 27-24. I'll say.
What is it now, John?
Let's see. 24-21.
That's not really, it's only a couple points.
Yeah.
You could have left it where you were at.
No, because I don't think they get 2 field goals. They get 20. Their field goal kicking has been, it's not all on Logan Matthews, but their field goal kicking has been suspect. I mean, in a second, you'll have a field goal go left. The next one, up extra point blocked. I just can't.
So you don't see 2 field goals for them in this game?
No, I see 1.
So
he's
over,
a good
under,
kicker.
2.
Inside 30, inside 35, he's been pretty good. But, yeah, I just see something going very wrong on one of these. They missed another.
Regardless, though, you're predicting a Kane victory.
Yes, I'm predicting a Kane win.
Okay.
And again, that's not a knock on Logan Matthews. The kicking game, I mean, the one game I did.
Yeah, there's a lot of elements.
The one game I did, I mean, the man went barreling through our line, and the kick was blocked before it even got off the finger. So, got to fix that up.
If anything, they'll call you out there.
Yeah.
You put one between the post.
All right, so let's get all this out and move on to volleyball, because I want to do volleyball next. And volleyball had a tough ending in the NJAC tournament. I don't know what it was with Rowan all year, but they lost their second game to Rowan. They finished the season 26-9, and they beat Rutgers Newark the first round, straight sets, didn't have issues. But then I watched the second round against Rowan on the road, and they lost 3-1. They just didn't play good again. And I guess, across to Rowan, they beat them 6 out of 7 sets this year, because they swept them earlier in the year, and they beat them 3-1 this time. And the sets were close. They lost 22-25, 25-22, 25-19. Third set, they won 25-22, lost the fourth and final 25-19. It's just, I guess it was one of those matchups all year that gave Coach Perkins issues. I guess it was the way they attacked them, the formations or anything, because they're a good team. They beat Stockton, who eventually won the conference. They beat Montclair, and they beat Rowan to win it, and they had a pretty easy time doing it. And that's the team Kean beat 3-2. So I think it was just one of those tough matchups that they just didn't match up well with Rowan. And
like you said, disappointing. They had such a great year.
Yeah.
You were there for almost every game.
Mm-hmm. And I had a great time doing it. A lot of fun, Richard. Lots of fun.
And you had Jesse Larkin.
Yeah, let's get
So
to
I'm sure
the
you
awards.
want to announce that.
Yeah, let's get to the awards. First, we'll do all region, right? Let's do all region first because those got announced today. Zoe Strzelecki was named to first team all region. I guess there's only one team, so all region team. And Larkin was an honorable mention for the Northeast region. And then Strzelecki was also named NJAC Player of the Year and a first team selection. 445 points, 376 kills, 118 blocks in over 33 matches. She averaged 3.84 points per set, just over 3.2 kills per set, over a block per set, and had a 376 hitting percentage. She was their best player all year, and she was great to watch. Phenomenal stuff. Sedona Guard, another major award for this Kean team. She won Rookie of the Year, NJAC Rookie of the Year. She was really good. It was one of the freshmen that coach was talking about before the season even started. It was one of my early interviews with them. Or I guess it was a little bit after that because they went out to California and then I talked to him. But he was very excited to see what the freshmen did because he had to rely on a lot of them this year. He had a lot of outside hitters that were freshmen. Sedona was one of them, and she answered the bell. Is it? Yeah, answered the call. She was very good. Trying to get her stats here, but was it on the press release? It probably was. I just can't find it. There she is. All right, 235 kills, 140. No, I don't want to give her errors. But yeah, 235 kills. Let's see what that goes out for. 4.5 blocks or points per set. Yeah, or no, 293 points on the season. 2 kills per set, and yeah, good stuff all around from her. She played the whole season. She played every game, which is great, and good stuff going forward from the freshman Sedona Guard. Let's go back, and we can see that Jesse Larkin also made first team for NJAC. Brie Calvano was named to second team NJAC, and Courtney Nelson was tabbed as the honorable mention. I don't know how Brie didn't make first team over or I guess Sullivan did from Stockton. I guess it makes a little sense. She was very good, but good season for Brie and good season for Courtney, who got second team and honorable mention respectfully. So that's it for volleyball. I had a fun time covering them. Obviously tough ending, and hold on, Rich. But yeah, so Rich has to go though, right? Is that what you're telling me? So yeah, Rich has to go do some school stuff because
we're still students at the end of the day.
Yeah, we are still, and you got to do your stuff. So Richard, I thank you for joining me today.
And I appreciate you. I can't believe I got to be around you like this. You know what I mean?
Oh my God!
I can just feel the aura. I feel like I'm a better man now.
Yeah.
Just for knowing you.
Yeah. All right, man. You go get
Follow
your stuff.
John at John Mastice, number 4 on Instagram, so you can see what's
Rich
all about.
Everything, because he's all out there. He'll be at the media summit. Take it easy, my man.
Oh yeah, the social media summit.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next. When is that?
Like December or something.
Yeah, we'll bring that up on the show eventually. But Rich is out. It's just me now and Rob. Rob won't hop on a microphone, but
I know, right? You gotta give him a mic one time for years old.
I know he won't do it though. He won't. So that's volleyball. Oh, so I want to mention this too. Gallagher from Rowan, Caldwell from Stockton, Sullivan from Stockton, and Waterman from Montclair also represented the NJAC on the all Northeast region list. So that's good to see. Getting represented. And yeah, let me click out. All right. On to women's soccer. Women's soccer, we talked about them having a tough ending to the season, but they did have some awards. Maria Elena Torres, talented sophomore, was named to first team all NJAC. She had 8. She played in 8 of the 9 conference matches, 5 goals in conference, 13 points. She had definitely more than that on the season, but that was in conference. For the season, she had 9 goals, 6 assists, 24 points. Incredible from a sophomore. Deanna Abdu was given second team honors, and junior Marissa Cook, who was in net, was given honorable mention. She played over 830 minutes in net, faced 155 shots, tallied 59 saves, and just allowed just under 2 goals per game, 1.7 goals per game. So good stuff from them. Coach Doherty has them going in the right direction, so that's definitely good. And, wow, I miss Rich already. Yeah, no Rich. But that's women's soccer. Let's get to swimming. I didn't really talk to Coach Swenson this week. Probably should have, because there were some records. Unless Rob remembers. What were the records set? Any records? I forgot. Check your release. Oh, you have releases on there for them. All right, that's great. Anyway, they are 1-5, but again, not really all about that. They're improving. Let's see. Sullivan. So Sullivan breaks a school record. Let's see what she broke. I already read all of this, and I don't know how. Christina Sullivan broke her own school record in the 1650 free with a time of 19. Is that 19 minutes? 19:8. Yeah, I don't know how to read this. 19 minutes, surpassing it by 2 seconds. Wow. And in addition, Kean earned second place in the 100 fly. Molly Lasco. This is all against Rowan last week. But, he has them improving. They're looking good. 1-5. Can't go all on that. You got to look at the times. They're playing tough competition, and they're definitely improving. Most importantly, they're in the NJAC. They're not getting destroyed. And then all these, they had a tough weekend against Manhattan and St. Peter's. But again, those are 2 really good teams. Thursday, they have 2 games in Flushing. They play Queens and St. Joseph's College of Brooklyn. And December 3rd against William Patterson. Then they're home against Hunter and Staten Island College to start the new year. So they'll have a little break there. But Coach Swenson has them looking good. Has them looking real good. So now we get to the interviews. We had 2 interviews this week getting ready for the basketball season. Mandy King I did today. Coach Hutchinson I did Tuesday. But let's start with Coach Mandy King, women's basketball head coach, who was nice enough to do this interview. She is going to be talking in just a second. Let's take a listen. If I ain't the greatest, So, Shannon McCoy coming off a fantastic freshman season where she was ranked NJAC Rookie of the Week, first team All NJAC. What do you think the difference was as the season went on for her? Because if you look at her stats, they gradually went up during the season.
Oh, Shannon McCoy was unbelievable last year. She's definitely a player where her character drives how she plays and how she leads. And it's been her high school career and her AAU career, she showed the same type of improvement. She's a grinder, and she's somebody that wants to be the best. Mm-hmm. And I think, early on, the NJAC is just so hard on its youth. It's a fast league, it's a physical league, and it takes a long time for players to make that transition. And but once she turned the corner, it was unbelievable to watch. Mm-hmm. She just understood how aggressive she needed to be able to help us to win, and it was, as the pressure got higher, she performed even better. And I don't know if I've ever seen a performance like that, especially from a freshman, but really from anybody in such a fantastic league.
Last season was a magical run. After starting as the 6th seed in the tournament, you beat Montclair, who had won 6 straight NJAC championships. Then you beat Rowan. Where did it click for this team last season?
This team they were positive all year long. I think they had a better attitude than I did, especially early on. And, they just every day, no matter if we were practicing at 6 o'clock in the morning, if we were coming off a win or a loss, they just came in, they got to work, and they really showed how much they cared about each other. Mm-hmm. And, we use the motto that it's our family versus their team, but this was the first team that I thought truly embodied it in everything that they did. And, we saw glimpses of it early. I think when we upset TCNJ at home. That was the first time that we broke through, and then I thought it was the toughness and the grit that they showed after losses to Newark at home and that at Camden, and then we had to go on the road and play Montclair on that Monday, and it was Sunday morning's practice that I knew something was really special about this team, because back-to-back losses like that, I thought, man, our playoff hopes are really small right now. And I walk into the gym and they are just as excited as I've ever seen them, and so their enthusiasm just really powered our belief. They really thought, we're just a young team, we get more experience, and nothing's going to get in our way. And man, once we got that win at Montclair, there was no looking back.
Special season for you last year as well, 200th career win as a head coach. What did that night mean to you?
It was one of my favorite nights of my career. I think when you reach a small milestone like that, because it pales in comparison to others, but I just see all the faces of all my kids that I've coached, and the different administrators that gave me a chance. I think of my first athletic director that gave me a chance as a 27-year-old kid, and and the other thing that was so special about it was not only the people that all were part of it, but that last year's team was one of my favorite teams I've ever had. And and that was a big part of that was our senior captain, Danny Oakley. And we always said if we had a team full of Danny Oakleys, we would be successful. And that night really reflected her and all her teammates in it. I'll never forget it.
Talk to me about the team this year. We know about the stars returning, but give me a name that is eventually going to become one we're calling a lot this season and having a big impact on games.
And we've got we're really a lot more balanced this year, and we've got some returning players that have improved their game. I think Casey Filio really started to play well down the stretch last year, but she's transformed her game. I think she'll make an even bigger impact. And I think Sarah Olivero and Kayla Anderson, those two guys have worked extremely hard over the summer, and I think they're going to have breakout seasons.
Great.
And
yeah, go ahead.
And then sorry about that. We have so many good guys to talk about, and we have some freshmen and some junior college transfers that I think will make a big splash. Danielle Mills is a freshman who I think is going to be something pretty special for us.
Great. Sydney coming back as a graduate student. From what I've seen, she's a little undersized at her position, but what makes her have as much success as she does down low? She just averaged under 7 rebounds a game, collected 11 blocks, which is pretty impressive at her size.
She is. She's very impressive. We are thrilled she's back. We are so lucky to have her experience and her leadership. What makes her so special is that she is just tough. And people talk about mental and physical toughness, but I think everything that she does shows that, and that's why she's able to dominate the block when she's undersized. She shows great attention to detail. She wants to be perfect, and she's very, very competitive. She's just not going to let anything get in her way, and I've seen that times 100 this year. Being a senior when it's your last chance, and she's just really ready to play.
So give me a sense of the competition level we're going to be seeing this weekend in the Kean Classic and down the stretch as we enter non-conference and conference play.
Well, heading into the weekend, I've only really focused on Lancaster Bible, and then just focus on them. And then Albright and Wheaton have been traditionally very competitive. But with Lancaster, they returned 5 guys from a year ago, and they got hot at the end of last year. They opened up the season with a loss, but for 3 quarters played really well. So we're looking forward just to being in Harwood Arena and kind of catching some of that magic that we had a year ago and playing like it. We never stopped.
So from being under the radar last season, now you're being picked as a top 3 team and receiving first place votes in the NJAC. How does your approach to games this season change since opponents will look at you as more of a threat this year?
We talked about that a lot, that we've always had high expectations for ourselves, but now outside of our locker room, the expectations are tremendously high, and what a privilege that is. And I think the best way to navigate that is the way that we focus on our work and we focus on our relationships every day and focus on building our culture. Our girls, they just set high expectations for themselves, and they're excited to bring our program, where we haven't been in a really long time. And, I think that we'll continue to be very, very successful because we have this chip on our shoulder still. Like people see us as a strong opponent, and we're not going to sneak up on anybody, but we still feel like we have so much further to go. And we've called it this season as a season of redemption because we weren't happy with the way that we played a year ago. And I think when you're a really talented team but you play with a chip on your shoulder and you feel like an underdog, that's when some real magical stuff can happen.
Coach Mandy King, thank you. All right. So let me just make sure we're on. Yeah, we're on. Are we on? Yes. All right. So back here, again, thanks to head coach of the women's basketball team, Mandy King, for doing all this and the interview. She was great answers. I did say Shannon McCoy during the interview won NJAC Rookie of the Week. Obviously, that's not true. She won NJAC Rookie of the Year. Just wanted to clear that up because I'm sure she won NJAC Rookie of the Week plenty of times, but obviously NJAC Rookie of the Year. For her, she had 16.5 points per game, 4.9 rebounds, and she is coming back for her sophomore season, obviously. So had to talk to Coach about her and the rest of the squad, and she seems pretty confident. As for when it clicked last year, I kind of wanted to know that because they went on that big magical run in the NJAC tournament, beating the 6-time defending champs Montclair, beating Rowan, and falling just short of who they lose to, Rob? Newark, Rutgers, Newark. So, but again, they're coming back now. But now the expectations are a lot higher. They were receiving a lot of first place. I got them right here. They were receiving a lot of first place votes to start the season. Here they are. They received 2 first place votes. They were picked third. Montclair second. TCNJ won. Montclair got 3 first place. TCNJ got 5. This is a team that has high expectations, which is kind of the opposite from last year when they surprised everyone in the tournament. So I'm very excited to start the season with them. They start off against Lancaster Bible on Friday. And then this is news to me because I didn't even know this was an actual tournament. Because usually with volleyball, they would just have like 4 or 5 teams in there, and they'll just rotate the teams playing it. This is an actual tournament. So the winner of Lancaster Bible and Kean will play the winner of Wheaton, Massachusetts, and Albright. So that'll be fun. The winners play at 2, and the consolation is at 12 on Saturday. But Kean starts it off. It all starts 5 o'clock for Wheaton and Albright at Harwood tomorrow, and then 7 o'clock. That's the start time that they're aiming for. It'll probably be a little after for the teams to warm up preceding the Albright game. But somewhere in that 7 o'clock hour, we'll have Lancaster Bible College at Kean. Women's basketball, Harwood Arena, Kean University, KeanAthletics.com. I'll have the call along with Kevin Meehan. Should be fun. Very excited. We'll be on the court calling it. Kind of missed the men's opener, obviously, because I had no voice. The week from hell, as I like to call it. But that's that. I'm very excited for that to start off, and eventually we'll get around the men's. We'll get around the men's right now, actually, because I had an interview with Coach Adam Hutchinson this week. He talked about his boys, how they're preparing for the season. Let's get to it. All right, Coach Hutchinson. Hard-fought loss to start off the year against Newman, but you had 5 players going to double digits. Talk to me about the amount of depth we're going to be seeing from this team this year and how this scoring can possibly come from multiple players any given night.
Yeah, we're pretty skilled at every position. We have good depth. We can go at least 2 deep at every spot, 3 deep at some spots. That can be an asset for your team. Defense doesn't know exactly where to focus. It's potential to be, a detriment for your team also in that, things can sometimes be a little scattered.
Mm-hmm.
But our guys are diligent and unselfish, so they're working to make it work in our favor.
Mm-hmm. Jalen Jamison, coming off his Rookie of the Year campaign, had a good start, season number 2 Saturday. What makes this kid such a special player and his ability to fill up the box score?
Juju sees what's going to happen at least a step before it happens. So, you know, a lot of players come in and they're playing against the guy in front of them. Jude is not even looking at him. He's looking at what's behind. So he sees what's going to happen. And he's, I would say, pretty unique in that he's able to do that at both ends. So he sees what the other team's getting ready to do before they do it. So there's a lot of things he does on the court that there's no stat for. But he also has a nose for the ball, so rebounds are coming off. He's always in the vicinity. He gets them. He's just a really, really good basketball player.
Mm-hmm. So you're talking about defense with Jalen. You've had many steps along the way coming to Kean before this. One stop in particular was at Amherst, which was only a year, but that team had one of the best defenses in all of D3 that year. Now, obviously, anywhere you go, the talent level is going to change, but Kean last year gave up close to 80 points per game, which is second in the last in NJAC. How much this offseason have you preached the improvement on defense on your team? Because obviously it's tough to try and outscore opponents every single night.
Well, Amherst was – first, we had the best defense in the country. And it was unique in that we were very good defensively and we were very good offensively. So what happened was our offense wound up distorting the other team's offense. So, you know, last season we were small. We were lacking in depth. And we were all new to each other. So if you look at the defensive numbers, I'm pretty confident that they skewed higher over the first, say, 11 games than they did over the last 12 or 13. You know, JoJo in particular, I thought gave us a foundation to build on. Now, unfortunately, he graduated. So really what we're trying to do now is to build on the example he set, you know, for how to be a good individual defender, how to be a really good team defender. You know, I would say thus far, Nate Lyles probably most epitomizes that. Mm-hmm. Mario is taking steps to move in that direction. Jew is doing well in that way also. But if you're going to have numbers like Amherst had, you at a minimum need 7 people to really lock in as both the primary defender and the help defender. And we have not gotten there yet.
Mm-hmm. Let's go back to Mario. 17 points, 6 rebounds in his debut, and Jack Rookie of the Week. Talk to me what we're going to be seeing from this kid all year, the freshman.
I've given up trying to predict anything, but he's a very mature young man. He's calm and poised. So when I was recruiting him, one of the conversations we had, you know, I told him, I said I loved him as a player, but really the reason I was recruiting him was for who he is as a leader. So like he doesn't get rattled on the court. He doesn't have an agenda. So he's able to be calm and make the decisions that you want made. And I think that's what you saw Saturday. You know, his first shift in, he looked a little nervous, but he calmed down and he just executed. You know, he's big, he's strong, he's skilled, he's smart. So I would say we probably will continue to see similar performances. Obviously, there'll be some fluctuation, but what he did, I think, is repeatable.
Mm-hmm. So almost the entire roster is underclassmen outside of 2 players, I think. Obviously, the goal is to win the conference every season, but how much in this young core are you looking just to, you know, build chemistry to improve that over the next 2 to 3 years, which obviously you hope they stick together, and like seeing this young core become a tight-knit group?
Yeah. That's critical. You know, I think you can win with younger teams if you have just a talent gap. But I think generally speaking, maturity has value on the basketball court. And you know, honestly, the conversations going into game 1 on our team was, this is not what you think it's going to be. You know, like this is different than high school. And we learned that, or we saw it anyway. So, yeah, we have to work to keep them together. We have to, you know, just talk to them and let them know game 1, isn't the end of the world. Provide them encouragement when they're struggling. Provide them congratulations when they're doing well. And the objective is to keep them together. That's the long-term objective. But the short-term objective is win the next game. When I watch, say, professional teams and tell me, we're a young team, I still kind of look and say, well, are you doing things that, I recognize lead to wins? And if they're not, then young doesn't mean anything, And so I hope that, we start putting together, longer stretches of winning basketball. Because, you can be young and you just take your lumps and don't learn anything from it. And before you know it, you're not young anymore, and you just got bad habits. So, we're mindful of their inexperience, but we're pushing them to, hey, do these things together, do them well.
Thanks, Coach. And we are back to wrap up the show. But I did want to talk about the interview real quick. So they did lose to Newman 89-75. That was Saturday. Of course, I couldn't call the game because I lost my voice. But they do go to Widener College for the Autism Awareness Tip-Off. That starts Friday night. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock, they play Moravian. And then the winner of that game plays the winner of Bryn Anthem? Okay. Bryn Anthem? Bryn Athen and Widener. I know where that is. I don't know why I can't say it, but that's what we got going on with men's basketball. For the team, Mario Gunn, who was very physically impressive. The guy's huge. He was named NJAC Rookie of the Week for his effort against Newman. 17 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Man looks like a monster. He's only a freshman, so that's good. One of the things that stood out, and I know this is all early observations, but one of the things that stood out to me against Newman was, all the players they had in double figures. I think it was five in double figures, which is really good. That means the scoring's coming from everywhere. You have a returning star in Jalen Jameson, who won NJAC Rookie of the Year last season. He was really good. He was good in the opening. He had 18 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. He fills up the box score. I think Coach Hutchinson's building something really good here. Team's looking good, and I'm excited to call the games this year. So that's awesome. And thanks again to Coach Hutch for doing this interview. As I play with my mic like an idiot. But yeah, thanks again. And final thoughts as we wrap up this Thursday, November 14th, the 6th edition of the Kean Sports Show. Final thoughts I have. So this past week, November 6th to 12th, was Thank Your SID week, and our SID is better than basically everyone. Kim DeRitter is awesome, sports information director. She has everything I need. Came into Rob's office today, just handed me all 4 of the teams we're going to be seeing, the pronunciations and everything this weekend for the Kean tip-off, the Kean tournament, women's basketball tournament. She has everything ready. She's had everything ready all fall for the fall teams. Kim DeRitter, she is awesome, and thank you for everything you do and everything you do for Kean Athletics. Great person. And that's how I'm going to wrap up the show today. You've been listening live on WKNJ.com. Catch us on YouTube, Kean Athletics. Thanks to everybody who helped this show happen. Peace out. See you next week. It's been John and Rich on the Kean Sports Show.